From challenging crosswords to unhooking bras, I just love a good puzzle. But then along comes video games. You know, that sultry digital mistress which has stolen way too much of your time and your money. When you've got a medium in which you can have characters fly, animals speak, and magic just come out of your ass, then of course you're gonna dial up the crazy crank when it comes to brain-bending puzzles. Sometimes as gamers we are presented with challenges so baffling that it can seem insurmountable without the help of the internet or a guide. And there are many times that even when you know what to do, it's so convoluted that it leaves you shaking your head in disbelief. Well, luckily for you, we gathered all these moments of frustration into a list for you today.
Yet this is not a burden that I want to take on my own. Luckily, I found an enigma of a man in the office whose only puzzle is how to be a bigger arsehole. I am, of course, referring to Adam Pachiti.
Here he is! Let's have some fun, look.
God, you worry me every time you come on screen.
Pachiti head shirt, so whack that on. Whack that on, do it.
Sure.
Come on, come on.
Well, that's my video.
We're jump cutting. We're jump cutting. Get the Pachiti head shirt on. They're going to hate me on the gaming channel. Hello.
He's an absolute bully, this boy.
Get the Pachiti head shirt on, that's good.
Remember kayfabe that we're meant to be hating each other?
Yeah, I'm aware.
Wrestling's fucking dumb, mate.
Come on.
No, just only pull it halfway down. Cool, yeah, representing my...
All the way down there, right.
Representing my Pachiti brand.
Why have I had to do half your work on this video, Jules?
I wrote the entire script. I wrote the entire script for you.
Do the intro, come on.
With this in mind, I'm Jules.
Right.
and this is Adam Pachiti, and this is the 10 most infuriating puzzles in video games. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Golden Buckle, Discworld. So, Discworld is a mental game, something you'd expect when you know it's written by serial abuser of rationality Terry Pratchett. A lot of the puzzles involved required some less than lateral thinking, but one of the most bizarre, frustrating, and at the same time humorous puzzles saw you try to get a golden buckle from a fishmonger to give to a dragon. I don't know what that means. Now, if you thought this would be as simple as asking the man for his belt, you'd be so wrong, so very, very wrong. As in order to pry this possession away from him, you're going to need to do the following. Steal an octopus from the fishmonger's table, throw the octopus into a toilet, pour custard on the octopus, put prunes in the fishmonger's caviar so he needs to use the toilet, watch the fishmonger get violently raped by the sea creature, and then take the belt buckle from his corpse. Just why? How were you meant to figure this out?
Number 9. The Owl, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. This one is just odd for how prescribed it is. In a game about strangling, sneaking, and snaking, you probably weren't expecting to focus a fair bit of time on an egg. There's a section in the game in which you need to get into a prison, and you find out from chatting to some creepy kids who are locked up in a research lab that they switch off the high-tech laser defenses at night. Which is pretty f***ing dumb, but bear with me. So after you've exhausted all logical thought as to how you're meant to get over or around these death traps, even possibly trying to wait until it becomes night in the game, which it never does by the way, it's time to turn to the illogical to solve this problem. It turns out that one of the eggs you can pick up hatches into an owl. Now, the idea of Solid Snake carrying around a live owl alongside all of his high-tech survival pieces might seem funny, but apparently it's essential to the solution, as you need to get this owl to hoot near this guard of the gate so he believes it to be nighttime and therefore switches off the defenses. The mind truly boggles at not only the oddity of a grown and presumably trained man being swayed by a simple hoot, but also how well guarded this egg was in the first place. It's almost like they knew Robert the guard was a danger place and hid his one weakness well away from him. It didn't help, and it's very frustrating.
The bank heist, Escape from Monkey Island. What makes this puzzle especially annoying is that it involves randomized features. So partway through the game, Guybrush Threepwood has to return to the scene of a bank robbery to exonerate himself of a crime he didn't commit. But before you think this is going to be CSI levels of research, clue hunting and logic, you are wrong. First of all, you need to get into the bank, and you have no way of doing so because unlike Jules' sister, the security in this place is seriously tight. So you end up talking to the owner of a prosthetic limb store. He tells you a story and you have to guess the name of the people involved. Depending on what you guess, you'll get a different limb. Now the problem is, you need to know what the name is before you can give the correct answer. Otherwise you get a random body part which has no use. You can find this by pulling open a manhole cover and finding a love note scrawled on the inside. Using this information, you go get your prize, a bag of fake skin, which is incredibly strange, and use this over the manhole cover to make a trampoline. You would never guess this from the outset of the puzzle, and in all honesty makes you look, if anything, more guilty as you carry around a bag of fake skin. That is creepy.
Number 7. The Black Monolith, Fez. This is up there in terms of puzzle frustration in video games, as it's a conundrum that not only took ages to solve and required the collective input from tons of gamers, but also when it had been worked out, no one knew how or why it worked. By this I mean that it was through sheer luck and brute force of gamers inputting controls in different areas of the map that finally led it to disappear and reveal its guarded treasure. But the codes make no sense, and theorists argue to this day about what the inputs actually mean. It robs gamers of the sense of achievement because luck doesn't count in the world of the brain. And it's not like we can ask developer Phil Fish about it either, as he's on a one-man crusade against social media. It's a masterful bit of gaming for the amount of effort and time it took to solve, but that doesn't mean it's not an absolute of a puzzle.
Babelfish, Hitchhiker's Guide. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is a fantastic book series full of wit, silliness, and a healthy dose of brain-bending logic. Therefore, it makes sense that the game of the same name for the Infocom was absurdly mental in places. It's a game which screams sarcasm as it mocks you for even asking to do the simplest of tasks, or it just kills you. But let's just say you make it to the point where you can claim your very own Babelfish. I think it's Babelfish, right? Babel? Yeah, Babelfish. This wondrous little creature sits in your ear and allows you to understand any language. The problem is, no matter how hard you try, it just seems to fall through a hole in the bottom of the vending machine you're trying to get it from. So, after blocking the holes, it appears like you've got this sussed. Wrong, you f***ing sucker! As a team of cleaning bots whisk the fish away from you before you can grab it. Turns out, you needed to pick up some pointless rubbish to distract the cleaning robots and eventually grab the fish before they can return. Now, this sounds like something that eventually you'd get to the bottom of. The problem is, you only get 5 chances to solve this puzzle before being kicked back to the start. It is brutal, and only a madman would solve this by chance.
Number 5. Moustache Mania, Gabriel Knight 3. This is my personal favourite on the list, as not only did it force me to pull out what little is left of my hair trying to solve it, but the end result was so funny that it almost put me in an asylum. Basically, you need to get your hands on this motorbike. Now I, in all fairness, would just steal this son of a bitch before even thinking twice about it. I'm a busy man after all. However, the solution to this is to dress up like the owner so that you can nab it without raising suspicions. Now once you've got the clothes and a nice hat, you need to source a moustache. And as time is now of the essence, you can't just wait to grow one, and apparently there's no fake dress-up shops in the area. Instead, you have to take logic behind the house and shoot it, as in order to get this upper lip fur, you need to get some tape, find a hole in a door, put the tape across, then scare a cat into running over it using a spray bottle. The resulting hair is then used as a terrible disguise. It requires the thought patterns of an absolute madman, but I can't deny that the end result wasn't funny.
The Goat, Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars. This goat, this dumb goat, and this frustrating puzzle which sees protagonist George from Broken Sword get more headbutts than a friendly Scottish person. Jules, why have you written that? That is racist. Basically, the aim is to make it through a courtyard and not get caught on the end of this animal's horns. The problem is, after you've tried everything in your inventory, it becomes clear that no combination of bits and bobs will solve this conundrum. Turns out, what you need to do is let yourself be hit, which goes against everything the game teaches you to do, and then quickly click on this hunk of junk in the corner. The goat will charge, but get tangled and allow you to pass through. It's so frustrating when you see how simple it is, and how you only likely found this out by clicking around relentlessly.
Number 3. The Challenge, The Witness. Oh, this puzzle is spicy. Oh, it's a spicy puzzle. It nearly broke my will to live and also my brain. Comprising of 14-line puzzles, you might not even come across this in your playtime with The Witness. But trust me, you will know the moment you encounter one of these absolute bastards. They're all random for a start, so every player is likely to have a different experience. Plus, there's a time limit to solve them all. And if you pause the game to, I don't know, cry, then the puzzles reset. Now, pretty much all of the other puzzles on the island carry a relaxed pace, so suddenly being challenged to adapt to a new configuration and run to different areas is just utterly jarring. It's because of this approach that many players really hate this part of the game, which is possibly too harsh. But by God, am I right up there with them, screaming when I fail for the umpteenth time on the final 1 or 2 sections.
Not Untying, Broken Age. Whatever your views on Broken Age, its ridiculous budget and shady behind-the-scenes practices, it's a fairly fun and for the most part easy game to play through. That it is, until it comes to the mother of all knots. Seriously, this thing is knottier than Jules' sister. Naughtier. Get it? Slut. It sounds so simple, right? Just untie the thing. Well, it would be if A, the knot didn't change every time you failed to untie it, and B, it was actually you doing the untying. Yeah, you see, what the game makes you do is look at the knot, and then you have to go to other characters in the game and ask them how to untie different sections of it. All this from memory. And I'll just say that I'm pretty decent at tying knots. Just go to my basement for... I'm not reading this, Jules. I'm not... Making me sound... Oh... God, I don't know if I can do that joke again. Oh, and the game uses comedy when the actual event begins, meaning you're not just going from area to area mathematically ticking boxes. Instead, you're given prompts like tug on the piggy's tail or pull apart the fighting snakes. Meaning that the information you've gathered, the odd drawings you have to use, are now complemented with aggravating descriptions. It is maddening.
And number 1, Rubber Duck, The Longest Journey. I mean, this really had to be at the top of the list, as not only does this puzzle require you to don your tinfoil hat of madness +3, but it will also leave you in a giggling wreck when you actually realise how to solve it. So early on in the game, you see a key on an electrified train track. You've got no need for the key, but as this is a point-and-click adventure, you know it's going to come in handy at some point. So hands up, class, how do you get this? What's that? You fish for it with a stick or something? Yeah, right, stupid! As if it would be that easy. No, instead you need to get a clamp from a machine which nobody in their right mind would think to do. And also you need this rubber duck. And to get this duck, you need a seagull to peck at it to burst it, and then you need to find the duck and reinflate it. You still with me? No? Well, tough. You push the inflated duck into the clamp to open it, and then pull off the bandages covering the hole, allowing the duck to deflate. You then lower the deflating duck down on the key, and as it runs out of air, it closes, and you get the key. Hey presto, you're fucking mad, I'm done! And that's our list. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you, Pachiti, for fucking slapping me in the head and hosting this, I guess. Let me know what other puzzles that drove you mad, and then pop by whatculture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. And then follow us on Twitter, you know the drill. And as always, I've been Jules, you've been awesome, and I'll speak to you soon.